Great. Hi, my name is Stefan Gary. My background is oceanography, and now I work at Parallelworks, and I build workflows, sort of as a kind of scientific bridge between the customers and the development team. And what I'm going to present today is a huge team effort. It's an update from what we presented last year at Parsl Fest, and I'll outline specifically where new things have happened. And we are very grateful for Department of Energy, SBIR funding. That's Small Business Innovation Research funding. Okay. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to be focusing on multi-site workflows with Parsl. And so in the figure in the upper right corner, there's a sort of a typical single site Parsl workflow. You've got Parsl running on the head node of a cluster, and then a whole series of worker nodes and jobs get sent and everything is great. Parsl, however, has a capability of working in a multi-site way where you can have multiple clusters attached to a different computer that's actually running the Parsl script. So that computer there, I've labeled it a workflow space. It's sort of a general catch-all term for it. Could be your laptop, it could be the Parallelworks platform, or some other machine, but it's not where those two clusters are. And you would do that through the Parsl Python app, where you can specify what kind of executor you want. And this applies to different partitions on the same cluster, or different clusters at different locations or on different clouds. And this is really useful because work can be portable from one site to another. You can test it, you can collaborate, you can take advantage of changes in cloud hardware or performance to cost ratios, as well as the fact that modern HPC is not monolithic. Some jobs run better on different resources, depending on your data compute proximity, licensed software, or CPU, GPU availability. So a little bit of context for what Parallelworks does and how it fits within the platform is we provide cloud clusters with you can configure them through one single graphical user interface. They have the same feel regardless of which cloud service provider you're on, and you can also connect on-premise clusters to the platform. We also provide an integrated development environment, which is basically a terminal and a workspace on the cloud. So you have your files, you can edit files, and you have a terminal that you can SSH into your clusters. And then you can alphabet soup launch Parsl. You can choose your favorite way. You can launch a Parsl workflow through a graphical user interface, through the command line, through an API to the call to the platform. But what it does is this provides a framework for lots of different clusters. And so a lot of customers for us are really interested in multi-site workflows. And then the key thing that I really want to outline here is that we have a lot of success with small business innovation research grants, and we often partner with academic teams to demonstrate real-world funder-relevant test beds. So, always open to collaboration. And the last, we'll skip that. But the problem with multi-site workflows is that a lot of folks are using a lot of us have experienced using a persistent cluster. So Parsl is always there and accessible by the nodes, and it's and all the nodes are on the same network. But when it comes to multi-site workflows, we're talking about clusters that are not on the same network, and Parsl might need to be installed everywhere with exactly the same versions. So especially for cloud clusters, which can come up and not have any software installed, you have to be really careful that you've got the right Python version and the right Parsl version. And finally, if we're using the Parsl Flux executor, installing Flux can be a bit of a challenge, although recently that's become a lot easier now that Flux can be installed directly with Conda. But so I'm going to show how we address these challenges. And the solution applies to both using the Parallelworks platform, but also these would be lessons learned that you could do this on your own laptop if you wanted. So I grabbed the screenshot of the Parsl docs from the high throughput executor. And there I'm doing this because it was really helpful for me to sort of understand the pieces of the high throughput executor and where each of the bits are and how they connect back to this user workspace, or what I call the workflow space. So remember, this is separate from the cluster. The cluster network is this box on the right-hand side. And so this could be your laptop, this could be the ParallelWorks platform. This is where your Parsl script is running. This is the cluster that you've attached, and then there'll be multiple clusters down below the slide. And the key part here is that the main connection point between that gets jobs, the Parsl apps going through the exchange or the executor to the interchange, they have to go through worker ports to get to the workers. And so we have to ensure that the ports on the head node are properly forwarded through SSH tunnels to the whatever your user workspace is. And otherwise the interchange won't even start up. And so getting those tunnels just right is a bit of a challenge. Oh, okay. So how does it actually work? It's a 3-step process. The step at the very bottom is Parsl workflow is launched. So that's our green light. What we do is we first establish a connection going from wherever you're running your workflow, from that workspace to the cluster with an SSH-R tunnel. And we choose this particular connection for convenience, but also there's some security and performance considerations that I can go into later. We then launch a workflow through a wrapper. So it's basically once the connection is established, a bash script starts, and that's running in that workspace on the ParallelWorks platform or whatever your workflow space is. And that launch script will gather resource information. So using the ParallelWorks platform, our new feature is that all the configuration information that you have provided for the cloud clusters is available to the user through an API. So things like IP addresses, your username on the cluster, and the Slurm partition that you're using, and a whole host of other important information. That then the tunnels that are port forwarding from the cluster head node, they're taking the worker ports. That tunnel gets established back to the head node, or back to the workflow space, back where the Parsl script is running. So that second step happens. So it's a 2-step process for doing the SSH tunneling. And then the final step is this information, the resource information, and as well as like the information that are established in the tunnels is taken and is put into your Parsl config. So the very top of that is obscured, but basically I just cut and paste a recent Parsl configuration from a workflow that I ran recently. And you can see the start of the high throughput executor at the top. And every one of the bits that I've highlighted there in yellow are custom pieces that have been inserted into a default template. And I got all that information through the ParallelWorks API about the information of that resource that I was running on. So things like the IP address and how to SSH to it, the user on that cluster, for example. I'm out of time? Oh, I'm at time. Oh, great. All right. And then we have lots of future work. So thank you. I was waiting for the 1 minute thing. All right, thank you. Oh, okay. Am I allowed? Ben has a question.
Yeah, I have a question. You're allowed to answer it. So how that works is commercial, right? So are you selling this as a service, or are you trying to work with funding agencies, or what is the?
So the code itself.
Yeah.
This is our Parsl utils. It's this wrapper that we use to launch. That's open.
Okay.
The stuff that the platform, access to the platform is the main service that we sell. So being able to log in to see this and press a button and get a cluster, configure it, and have access to that. But we use standard Parsl, and that's a big improvement for us because in the past we had a highly customized version of Parsl, and so now we can stay up to date. So I'm very thankful for your feedback
Yeah.
on recent questions that I didn't have a chance to talk about in the last slide.